The sun was warm, the music a little too cheerful, and everyone at my sister Lena's gender reveal party acted like they had stepped into some perfect commercial about family bliss. People laughed around tables covered with pink and blue decorations, and Lena practically floated as she moved from guest to guest. She pressed an ultrasound photo into my hand like it was a treasure. "Isn't she beautiful?" she asked, voice shaking with joy. "I'm a radiologist. I've read thousands of scans. I can interpret them in my sleep." But the moment I focused on that image, something inside me dropped into ice water. The shape was wrong. The density was wrong. The entire structure was wrong. My smile froze. My lungs forgot how to work. If I reacted, if even a flicker of fear touched my face, it would destroy her. This was Lena, my gentle-hearted sister who cried at movie trailers and taped glow-in-the-dark stars to her ceiling. The one I protected since childhood. I couldn't drop a bomb in the middle of her perfect afternoon. So I swallowed the terror and kept my face steady. Parents hovered near her like she was a sacred glass statue. Neighbors gossiped around the snack table. Ethan, her husband, stood by the grill grinning at her like she hung the moon. Everything looked perfect. Too perfect. Mom called out, "Maeve, take a photo of us," waving her phone. I lifted my hand and pretended I didn't hear her. My eyes had already drifted back to the ultrasound in my palm. I checked again, hoping I was wrong, praying my brain misread it. I wasn't wrong. That familiar, suffocating weight, the kind that came before I delivered terrible news to patients, settled deep in my chest. Lena nudged my shoulder. "You're so quiet." Overwhelmed by all the cuteness. Cuteness. If only. I forced a smile, just taking it in. She laughed, spinning toward the decorations. Little baby socks hung on twine, cupcakes with question marks, a giant balloon waiting to explode into color. She saw a future. I saw something I didn't have the heart to name yet. I slipped the ultrasound into my pocket and made myself blend in. I poured drinks. I listened to people talk. I nodded through meaningless conversations while my instincts screamed louder than the music blasting through the speakers. Every time I looked at Lena cradling her belly, glowing with motherly hope, I felt myself unravel. Something was wrong. Horribly, terrifyingly wrong. I scanned the yard, pulse pounding, and found Ethan wiping grill smoke from his hands. When our eyes met, he gave me a goofy, excited grin. He had no idea. I crossed the yard, weaving through strangers until I reached him. "Ethan," I said, voice low, urgent. "We need to talk. Now." His smile faded instantly. What's wrong? Did something happen to Lena?" "Not here." "Inside. Laundry room." He hesitated for 1 second, then saw something in my face that wiped every trace of celebration from his eyes. He followed fast. Inside, behind the laundry room door, the thumping party became a distant heartbeat. "Maeve," he whispered, "you're scaring me." I inhaled deeply. I had to choose every word like a surgeon choosing instruments, carefully, precisely, without mercy. "That ultrasound," I said. "It's not what you think." He stared at me. "What do you mean?" "That's our baby." "It's not a baby." The silence that followed felt endless. His entire face went blank before panic clawed up his throat. "No," he whispered. "No, she's been feeling kicks." "She?" "I know what she thinks she felt," I said softly. "But I've seen thousands of scans. What's on that image is a mess. Not a fetus. Something is seriously wrong." His hand slapped against the washing machine to steady himself. "You're sure? Please tell me you're wrong." I wish I were. Then came the countdown outside. 3, 2, 1. The balloon popped. A roar of happiness exploded through the yard. Confetti drifted past the laundry room window like petals. Pink. Lena was out there crying happy tears over a little girl who didn't exist. Ethan's voice cracked. "What do we do?" "We wait," I murmured. "We can't destroy her in front of everyone. Tonight, we take her to the hospital." A knock shattered the moment. It was Mom. "Are you two hiding?" "Lena's cutting the cake." I cracked the door just enough to fake a smile. "Coming." Mom drifted away, clueless. "What do we tell her?" Ethan asked, shaking. "Tell her I'm sick. Tell her you need to drive me home. Just get her away from the crowd. His nod was slow, dazed. We walked back out. And there she was, Lena, glowing, pink confetti stuck in her hair. There you are, she said, grabbing Ethan's hand. Did you see? We're having a girl. His voice barely held together. Babe, Maeve's not feeling well. I need to take her to get something. Now, she frowned, disappointed. But the cake. I'll be quick. Save me a piece. She hugged me, her rounding stomach pressing against me. It felt like being stabbed. 10 minutes later, we were driving away while the party kept celebrating a future that didn't exist. My phone was already at my ear. Harper, I said. It's urgent. I'm bringing my sister to the hospital. Full OB imaging. Something's wrong. Her tone changed instantly. Bring her straight in. The rest of the night would change everything. And none of us were ready for the truth. The ride to the hospital felt like driving through molasses. Every streetlight stretched too long. Every second dragged its nails across my nerves. Lena kept talking in the back seat, blissfully unaware of the storm waiting to swallow her. Do you think she'll have Ethan's dimples? Oh. And you'll teach her to read scans one day, right? Ethan gripped the steering wheel, so tight his knuckles bleached white. I stared at her through the rearview mirror, my heart splitting. If love could shield someone, she'd be untouchable. But the truth didn't care. When we pulled up to the emergency entrance, she blinked in confusion. Why are we at the hospital? You said you needed medicine. I lied. Ethan whispered, voice cracking. Baby, we need to check something. Her face slowly drained of color. Check what? What's going on? I opened her door and held out my hand. Lena, come with me. Please. She stepped out, trembling. When she saw the fear written all over our faces, her breath hitched. Inside, the fluorescent lights seemed too bright, too cold. Harper hurried toward us, her expression a mask of professional calm. I heard your symptoms, she said, gently placing a hand on Lena's arm. Let's get you into imaging and make sure everything is okay. Lena looked at her, then at us, confusion turning into dread. I didn't say I had symptoms. Harper hesitated, just enough. Then she guided her down the hallway. The moment Lena disappeared through the imaging doors, Ethan collapsed into a chair, burying his face in his hands. I sat beside him, feeling the weight of the universe pressing on our shoulders. You think she'll hate me? He whispered. No, I said. But she will hurt. You both will. We waited. Minutes felt like hours. Every sound amplified. Monitors beeping, sneakers squeaking across linoleum, someone crying in a room nearby. Finally, Harper returned. Her face told me everything. Come with me, she said softly. She led us into the consultation room, the place where bad news goes to break people. Lena sat on the exam bed, mascara. She looked up at me, eyes red and pleading. Maeve, what did you see? I sat next to her and took her shaking hands. Sweetheart. I saw a mass. Not a baby. She stared at me like the world was tilting. No. I heard her heartbeat. I felt her kick. Harper stepped closer. What you felt were muscle spasms. And the sound you heard earlier was bowel movement interference. It can mimic a heartbeat. But the ultrasound. It was misread, I whispered. I'm so sorry. I wish it wasn't real. She folded forward, sobs ripping out of her like she'd been stabbed. Ethan rushed to her, wrapping his arms around her as she cried into his chest. The sound. It wasn't just heartbreak. It was devastation. The kind that cracks something inside a person forever. Hours later, when she was stable enough to leave the room, the doctor called us back for a deeper evaluation. We need to schedule surgery, he said. It's a fast-growing tumor. Not cancerous, but dangerous. Lena's breath trembled. Surgery? Why do I need surgery? Because the mass is large and attached to the uterine wall, he explained gently. If we don't remove it soon, it can cause organ damage. Her hands flew to her stomach protectively, even though she now knew. I thought I was going to be a mom, she whispered. And then she broke again. We spent the night at the hospital. Lena didn't sleep. She sat upright staring at her hands, whispering. She had a name. I picked out her name. I couldn't bring myself to ask what it was. When morning came, she agreed to surgery. Ethan never left her side, but guilt hung over him like smoke. After signing the forms, she looked at me with hollow eyes. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" The question sliced right through me. "I didn't know how," I whispered. "I didn't want to be wrong. I didn't want to scare you unless I was absolutely sure." She didn't reply, just nodded tiredly. As she was wheeled into pre-op, Ethan pulled me aside. "You saved her life," he said. "No matter how much she hurts right now, you did the right thing." But his words didn't feel like comfort. They felt like a verdict. After the surgery, which lasted hours that felt like days, the doctor finally stepped out. "It went well," he said. "She's out of danger." Relief washed through us so hard my knees nearly buckled. But this wasn't the end. When Lena woke up, her voice was barely above a whisper. "Will I ever be able to have kids?" The doctor paused. "We don't know yet. There's a chance. But you'll need time to heal. A lot of time." The words hit harder than anything before. This wasn't just loss. It was loss with an unknown future. Over the next few days, her pain shifted. Physical to emotional, emotional to spiritual. She barely spoke. She barely ate. She stared at walls like she was watching the ghost of a life she would never get back. One night, when Ethan fell asleep in the chair beside her, she looked at me and whispered, "Was I stupid? For believing? For loving her already?" "No," I said, taking her hand. "Loving isn't stupid. Hope isn't stupid." She wiped her eyes. "But it hurts so much." "I know," I whispered. "And that means she mattered." That broke her again, softly this time quietly. Before she was discharged, Harper pulled me aside near the elevator. "She's going to need support," she said. "Lots of it." "I know." "And she's going to blame herself." "I know." "And maybe you." That one stung. But she was right. Not even truth guarantees forgiveness. Lena went home with a folder of aftercare instructions and a stomach full of stitches. Her house, once filled with baby clothes, stuffed animals, and tiny socks, now felt like a mausoleum for dreams. She moved slowly through it, touching things like they were relics from another lifetime. Ethan cried when he thought she wasn't looking. And me. I stayed strong. Because someone had to. But every night, I replayed the moment I saw the truth on that ultrasound. Every detail. Every shadow. Every sign. And I wondered if I could ever forgive myself. Because even though I saved her life, I also shattered her heart. I sat on the edge of my bed that night, replaying everything. Her laughter. Her followers calling me cheap. Her smug little smirk as she filmed my grocery list like it was a joke. And then the way she froze when I finally told the truth. The way her face drained of color. The way she realized she needed me far more than I ever needed her. By morning, the breakup wasn't just real. It was permanent. I blocked her everywhere. Bank accounts unlinked. Automatic transfers to her debt canceled. The mobile plan I'd been paying for shut off. And then came the grand finale. Around 11 a.m., I got a text from a friend. "Bro, I think they're taking her car." I looked outside my apartment window. 2 floors down across the lot, there it was, a repo truck, lifting her shiny car off the ground. She ran out barefoot, yelling at them, screaming that it was a mistake. But the guy just shrugged and said something that honestly felt like karma speaking through him. "Ma'am, someone stopped making the payments." When the car rolled away, her last bit of pride went with it. Then my phone buzzed again. It was a screenshot from one of her own followers. She lied to us. She used him. She really let him pay her debt? She embarrassed him while he was helping her? Unreal. Her entire TikTok army, the same one she weaponized against me, turned on her in minutes. By sunset, she had deleted the video. By midnight, her entire account was wiped. And by the next morning, she tried texting me from a new number. "Can we talk? Please. You misunderstood. I didn't mean to hurt you." I stared at the message, then deleted it. No reply. No closure. She had already shown me exactly who she was. And here's the beautiful part. My financial struggles. Gone. Money finally stayed in my account. Stress disappeared. My budget finally made sense again. because I wasn't secretly carrying someone else's lifestyle on my back. Turns out, I wasn't broke. I was just paying for the wrong person. And the moment I stopped, everything in my life got lighter. So when people ask me whether I regret exposing her, whether it felt mean or harsh or cold, no, I don't regret a single second. All I did was tell the truth. And the truth did exactly what it always does. It set me free. And it destroyed the lie she lived in.